The Sukhoi Superjet 100 story is not purely about engineering. It is also about the challenging balance between aesthetics, performance, and global competitiveness, as well as ambition and compromise. The statements of Mikhail Pogosyan, the former director of the Sukhoi Design Bureau, provide new insight into how some of the aircraft's most debated design decisions were made, often in the face of internal resistance. These decisions, including the deliberate acceptance of additional weight, reflected a broader vision. The goal was to position the Superjet not just as a functional regional aircraft, but as a modern, globally competitive product. However, as Altitude Addicts often points out when breaking down aviation strategy, engineering ambition alone rarely guarantees success in global markets. Now, moving into one of the most revealing design debates, the shape of the aircraft's nose became a surprisingly intense point of conflict. According to Pogosyan, this wasn't just a technical discussion, it was almost philosophical. Designers pushed for a simpler, more conventional nose geometry. Their reasoning followed standard aerospace logic. More curvature means more structure, more materials, and ultimately more weight. And in aviation, weight is everything. It affects fuel burn, range, payload, and operating costs. But Pogosyan insisted on a smoother, more refined nose profile. His argument wasn't purely technical, it was also about perception. A modern-looking aircraft. So yes, the aircraft became heavier, and it was intentional. Not ideal, not efficient, but deliberate. And honestly, this is where things start to feel a bit human, like choosing style, even when you know it costs you. What this reveals is a broader philosophy. The Superjet wasn't just engineered, it was designed as a product where appearance, branding, and user perception mattered as much as raw performance. Shifting from the exterior to the cockpit, another major transformation was underway. The aircraft moved away from traditional control yokes and adopted a side-stick system. This change aligned it more closely with modern aircraft, like the Airbus A320. But it wasn't just about copying trends. It required a complete rethink of pilot interaction with the aircraft. The side stick enabled better integration with digital fly-by-wire systems. It improved ergonomics and made the aircraft more familiar to pilots trained on Western platforms. In theory, this should have helped international adoption. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. More advanced systems mean more complexity. And more complexity demands stronger maintenance infrastructure. And that's where things started to unravel later. Moving into the cabin, the Superjet took another bold step. Instead of following the usual regional jet approach, it aimed for mainline aircraft comfort. Larger overhead bins were installed, closer to what you'd see on a Boeing 737. This meant passengers could carry more luggage and enjoy a more spacious feel. The idea was simple: better passenger experience equals better market appeal. Airlines, after all, compete heavily on comfort. But once again, there was a trade-off. Bigger bins, more space, more weight. It's almost like every improvement came with a quiet cost attached. So by this point, a pattern had clearly formed. Comfort and perception were being prioritized, even when efficiency took a hit. Now we get to the part that really explains why things didn't go as planned globally. Because despite all these innovations, the aircraft struggled outside Russia. According to aviation expert Oleg Smirnov, the issue wasn't just the aircraft itself. It was everything around it, the ecosystem. Aviation isn't just about building planes. It's about maintaining them, supporting them, and keeping them flying reliably every single day. And this is where the Superjet faced serious problems. There was no strong global maintenance network. Spare parts weren't easily available. Imagine running an airline and waiting days or longer for a critical component. That's not just inconvenient, it's expensive. Operators reportedly had to source parts from multiple countries. Costs increased, reliability dropped, and airlines noticed that very quickly. They always do. Now, adding to this situation was a major turning point involving Italy. This is where things get a bit geopolitical. Italy had been a key partner in the program. Expectations were high for European involvement. But after certification, Italy withdrew. And that decision sent a strong signal across the aviation world. If a major partner walks away, others start asking questions. And usually, they don't like the answers. Not long after, Alitalia canceled its planned purchase of 20 Superjets. Instead, it chose aircraft from Embraer. That was a major blow, because one big Western customer could have changed everything. So yes, the aircraft met international certification standards. Technically, it was sound. But certification alone doesn't sell airplanes. Airlines look at life cycle cost, reliability, and support. And here's the slightly uncomfortable truth. The Superjet just didn't compete well in those areas. Its global supply chain, once seen as a strength, became a weakness, especially when geopolitical tensions disrupted access to components. Maintenance became harder. Costs went up. Confidence went down. So what happens next? Well, this is where the story shifts again. Russia responded with a complete rethink, the SSJ new, and this isn't just an upgrade. It's essentially a new aircraft built from the ground up. Around 97% of components are being replaced with domestic alternatives. That includes avionics, software, hydraulics, and the new PD-8 engine. The idea is simple: reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. Because if there's one big lesson here, it's this: you can't rely on external systems if you want long-term stability. Altitude Addicts has actually highlighted this pattern across multiple aviation programs. Technology matters, but control over that technology matters even more. Looking at the bigger picture, the Superjet story teaches something important. Building a competitive aircraft isn't just about engineering. It's about the entire ecosystem: design, logistics, maintenance, and support. Everything has to work together. Pogosyan's decisions showed the importance of perception and user experience. But the challenges that followed showed the limits of that approach. Because in aviation, performance in the air is only half the story. What happens on the ground matters just as much. In the end, the Sukhoi Superjet 100 stands as a bold and ambitious project. It tried to redefine Russia's place in global aviation. Some choices worked. Some clearly didn't. And maybe that's the most honest way to look at it. Not as a failure, not as a success, but as a learning curve at full scale. As the SSJ new moves forward, those lessons are shaping the future. Weight, design, infrastructure, and global trust, all of it is being reconsidered. And as Altitude Addicts would say, this isn't just about one aircraft. It's about how aviation evolves under pressure. Because sometimes, the smallest design decisions end up having the biggest consequences. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel.